Welcome to Colombia! Today I have lots of paper. It's the Santa Marta Travel Guide, so it will be a little longer blog today. Welcome to today's video. My name is Frank. I live in Bogota since over 4 years and I run a travel agency. Today we are hosted by the hostel Astromelia here in the historic town of Bogota. It's a very new hostel. It's open since 3 months and it's very focused on art, on music, on dance. It's beautiful and it's more of a boutique hostel than one for all the backpackers just wanting to party. It's very beautiful. You see art pieces everywhere. You have nice rooms. You have suites in the first floor. Really nice place. And this is also one of the tendencies you can observe here in La Candelaria, that the quality is steadily increasing and many people are coming and investing into quality, which is great. So let's start with the Santa Marta Travel Guide. So I went to Santa Marta 2 weeks ago. I was invited to a wedding from one of my best friends from my MBA I made here in Bogota. And it was just beautiful. The weather was good, although it was raining the other days, but on the day of the wedding not. The ceremony was performed with Kogis. Those are the indigenous with the long hair from the Sierra Nevada, Santa Marta, the mountain chain. With their white costume. It was very beautiful. The only thing was that the night before, most of the guests, they intoxicated themselves with some seafood, so the wedding was very quiet, very laid back, but it was beautiful. So let's start and jump into Santa Marta. Santa Marta is actually known as one of the oldest cities in whole Latin America, and it was founded 1525 by the Spaniards arriving to Colombia on the way conquering the whole Colombia. Today Santa Marta counts around 2 million inhabitants, but the historic center is actually quite small, very nice, and the city grew quite big because you don't have so many tall buildings. What to see in Santa Marta and activities. We start within the city, within Santa Marta itself. There is actually not so much to do, but I tell you right away, Santa Marta is actually one of the best towns as a starting point for different nature activities. So I need to help my list because I don't remember everything. We have it's called Quinta de San Pedro Alejandrino. This is the house where General Simon Bolivar died. So on his life end he was there in Santa Marta, and it's the house where he died. And today you see the remainings of this house. You have a huge park, you have a museum, you have art exhibitions, and it's actually a very good plan to go. They have some local tours and it's usually in Spanish. If you're an English speaker, I advise you to book a tour in advance with the local agency, or you also can drop me a message, because if you need an English speaking guide, you need to organize that in advance. But it's a great option for doing in Santa Marta. Better going early in the morning, because in Santa Marta, it's on the Caribbean coast, it can become quite hot. Then we have on the Plaza Bolivar, we have the Tayrona Gold Museum, which is very nice. If you're going to the historic town, you will go there anyway and you will see it. It's right next to the park. I think entrance is for free. They have 4 different rooms with different exhibitions. It's a really beautiful museum. Just go, take a look. If you like it, stay longer, enjoy it. If you don't like it, then it didn't cost you nothing. Then we have the Cathedral of Santa Marta, which is a very unique building. You can see it from far away. It's very nice also inside. It's on a little plaza. And what is actually cool, if you're early in the morning, you have the mass, but you also can sit in one of the cafes nearby, oversee the plaza and seeing people coming and going. It's actually a good plan early in the morning or later in the afternoon. Then we have the Parque de los Novios, which is the park of the couple. And you can imagine, in the historic part of Santa Marta, you actually have two main streets. They're in an angle like this, in an angle of 90 degrees, and within the angle is this park. And over there you will find all the restaurants, all the bars, music, and everything you need for having dinner and a good night out. This is the place to be. So, Parque de los Novios, you will get there anyway. Not much to explain about that. So, this is already what we can find within Santa Marta. There's not so much, but there's lots to discover outside the city. There is, for example, El Rodadero. Interestingly, when I was researching the 10 best beaches, some mentioned Rodadero. I didn't understand why, because I went there and I was terrified. But yeah, people somehow listed it up. El Rodadero is, there's a beach actually, and it's for the mass tourism. It's mostly Colombians, or I think it's just Colombians. And you have apartment buildings, so middle class people go there with their families. They have, or you have hotels all included, and they go to the beach, they drink, you have music everywhere, you have the beach sellers, you have boats going to Playa Blanca, you have, it's a really messy place. It's not a nice beach, it's long, but it's not very nice. It's not what I understand under a nice beach. And also in the night, you can go out there, you have the according nightlife for all those people. And this is actually El Rodadero. You need from the city center in Santa Marta about 30 minutes by taxi. Then also from there you can go to Playa Blanca. It's probably the same audience going there. And Playa Blanca, I think it used to be a nice beach, but today it's looks more like a landfill. It's full with garbage and it's a messy place, and you have the street vendors and food is expensive. I would say for the tourist seeking for a quality time on a nice beach, forget about Rodadero, Playa Blanca. You also can go to the aquarium, which is over there. But I think those whole plans, I mean, if you're interested in that, do it. You know, it's there now, but it's up on you to decide if you really want to go there or not. It's not the quality stuff I usually sell people, the good experiences you can actually have on other places here in Colombia. Then a little bit further away, like 40 minutes from Santa Marta, you get to Minca. Minca, only 5 years ago, was really an insider tip. Not many people went there because it's like the entrance door to the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, which is this huge mountain chain which goes from 0 up to 5,700 meters above sea level. Today Minca has many hostels, restaurants, many foreigners go there, they buy property and offer their services. And also Colombian mass tourism discovered this. So you, close to Minca, this little village, you all have some natural pools, some waterfalls, and I tell you, Colombians are moved there by the busload. And the way the Colombian busload tourism works, they take a lot of stuff like beer and food and everything with them. Then they have a good time, very loud, with music, lots of food, lots of alcohol, and then they leave and all their garbage stays on the side and it looks terrible. This is something still Colombia needs some education in taking care of the environment, but this is what you find there, sadly enough. But the Sierra Nevada is not just Minca, it goes up furthermore until 5,700 meters. You cannot go there just by yourself because it's indigenous land, but you can, for example, go up to La Cuchilla de San Lorenzo, which is on 2,000 500 meters. This is the perfect place for bird watching. Talking about bird watching, Santa Marta and Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta is one of the most important destinations in Colombia for bird watching, because you have many endemic species and very interesting ones in the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. I went up there on a motorbike, on the back of the motorbike, and it was a bit of a hassle because right now it's rain season and it's unpaved, and you have to drive all the way up the mountain, and we got stuck and we fell and it was very dirty, and it was very interesting because on the way back we saw people, they tried to get up there with a scooter. If you plan renting a scooter and going further up the mountain than Minca, forget about that plan. It won't work because the scooters with their small wheels, you will be stuck in the dirt, in the mud, and you will need to push your scooter all the way up the mountain. So back to La Cuchilla de San Lorenzo. Up there is a hostel, you can sleep there. It's very basic, it's cold, and you also can do some hiking there. And this is actually the advice I give to the people who go to the Sierra Nevada. Don't stay in Minca, but go further up the mountain. There are many hotels or accommodation. I think there is even Airbnb, and it's great. The nature is awesome. You can do hiking. There are night tours. You can go and find the diamond frog, which is a frog you see through, and it's an amazing place in terms of nature. It's so beautiful. And also you can see the shore from the Sierra Nevada. So can you imagine you're on 1,500 meters and you see the sea. Sunset is one of the most beautiful things you will ever see. Before getting ahead with the Santa Marta Travel Guide, we also have it in written on our homepage. Just look for Pelecanos Santa Marta Travel Guide. This is a working document, so we will always update it, put more information. So if you're interested in finding more detailed information and also the relevant links, just search it in Google and check it out. So we're still in the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. And you also can find coffee farms. They also brew beer. You have actually, where I stayed, in a coffee farm on 1,600 meters. It's one of the most beautiful experiences. You also find that in a video when we went bird watching 1 year ago. You actually can rent this coffee farm, and if you're interested in that, you can drop me a note. And there are many trails, waterfalls, and just it's nature paradise. Then besides the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, you find Parque Tayrona. I'm sure many of you, I don't need to explain what the Parque Tayrona is, but some of you might never heard of it. So Parque Tayrona is probably the most important park in Colombia with most tourists, at least foreigners. You have limited access. That means I think you have 4,000 people a day, and then it's closed. If you don't buy your ticket in advance and you're late on a public holiday, you will stand in front of the entrance gate and you can't get in. You can buy your tickets online in advance. You will find the link in the description below. Also, you can book tours. You can go to different beaches with the boat. Also, some beaches, they have a limited number of entrances. The beach I like most is Playa Cristal. It's to me the most beautiful beach, and it has a limited number, which secures that you will not go to a super crowded beach. You also have accommodation within the park. You have the eco hubs, which is luxury. You have camping, and Parque Tayrona is great. I advise people usually going early in the morning because it becomes quite hot during the day. If you're lucky, you can see many animals. Also, there are many beaches. But right now, I have to tell you, be careful with all the beaches, because not on all beaches you can go swimming. They're beautiful, but the tide is very dangerous. People drowned in the past. People died. So be careful going to Parque Tayrona to make sure you're not going to swim on one in the beaches, which are dangerous. You also see warnings, but always make sure that you're safe. Very important. Getting to Parque Tayrona from Santa Marta is actually very easy. You can take the public bus, which will cost you 3 times nothing. I think that leaves at Calle 11 with Carrera 11. Very close to the public market. And you can also take a taxi, you can go with the normal tour. And it's like 45 minutes, right? It's very close. Very convenient getting there. Then also a great plan going from Santa Marta is the last city trek. I did that like 2 years ago, and I just have friends over and they did it a week ago. It's still the same. So what you have to take into account when doing the last city. It's 4 days, 5 days or 6 days. To me, 4 days is totally sufficient. You don't have to be in a super great sporty shape, but you need to have like good resistance, and the facilities will be very basic. There is no soap to wash hands. The beds are totally basic. You might have bed bugs. I took my hammock with me, and food is good. Water is supplied, but might be a risk, I will tell you. And yeah, if you're there during high season, it's filling up a lot. There will be many people. And in the final camp, before going up to the last city, actually it can have 120, 150 people. And 3 bathrooms or something like that. So infrastructure doesn't change, it's still the same, it's very basic. Some people get sick because of the water, hygiene, sanitation, whatever. I don't know what it is, but sometimes people got sick. In my group it was like 50%, and one had to ride back on a donkey because he wasn't able to walk anymore. It's very humid. You will be wet from the beginning, either from sweating, from rain, from humidity. But saying all that, it's a great experience. I loved it. And it's awesome because you walk all the way up and then you come to this beautiful lost city, and with the history, it's an awesome experience. But, you know, there's some risk. In terms of shoes, some people do it with hiking boots, which is okay. Some even go with rubber boots, which is okay too. I had those Salomon cross trail running shoes. To me, this was the best because they're a little bit like football shoes with knobs. So even if it's muddy and slippery, you have traction, which is good, which is most of the trail. Only when you're walking on stones, even especially wet stones, then it's a bit slippery, those kind of shoes. But I was super happy. Also bring some flip-flops, or when you go on the trail, usually in the nights, in the camps, you go swimming in some of the lagoons, and then it's actually good not to have flip-flops, but maybe Crocs or some similar shoes with which you can walk, but also jump into the water without losing them. So this is something you might need. Don't take too much luggage because you have to carry it all the way, but you will have enough food, you will get fruits on the way. It's very well organized, and if you're a little adventurous and you like stuff like that, I highly recommend you doing the last city trail. But also when you come back, make 1 free day to recover. You will be thanking me doing that. Then we have also Taganga, which is very close to Santa Marta, and Taganga was very close for the party place and drugs and prostitutes and Sodom y Gomorrah. I went there too, and it was astonishingly quiet. It was low season, so it might have been because of that. You can do snorkeling, you can do diving, you can do the diving certificate. I think there is still partying and stuff, but I think since Palomino, lots of the party has shifted, and many of the people they went over to Palomino. I'm not sure if the Ganga is still as bad as its reputation. It's beautiful in the morning, sunrise and sunset, sitting on the hill in a restaurant, drinking something. It has its charm, but the Ganga itself, it's used to be or still is a backpacker town with very unsustainable tourism, unsustainable concepts. I usually don't recommend the people going there. If you think different, leave it down in the comment section, write something about it. If you have experience, positive or negative or whatever about the Ganga, I will be more than happy to learn more about your experiences from the Ganga in the past. Then we have Accommodation in Santa Marta, which is quite a lot, and there are some good hotels, there are good hostels. Where I usually send people is Placita Vieja, which is what you get for the price. It's great and it's very close. It's actually in the city center, the historic part. It's very beautiful. And then you have other different boutique hotels, which are nice. And then I had, where's the hostel? I think, and the hostel I already stayed in 2009 was Hostel La Brisa Loca. Party hostel, great place. If you're a backpacker and want to party in Santa Marta, I think La Brisa Loca, that's the place to go. Nightlife. Of course, in Santa Marta there's a nightlife, as already mentioned before. It's very easy to find. There is the square of the couple, of the boyfriends, Plaza de los Novios, and there you find everything on those streets. And also you can go to Rodadero if you want to try different type of nightlife, and restaurants you find all over the place. Cultural agenda, there is not so much in Santa Marta. You have the Festival of the Sea, which is usually in July. For next year, I don't know the exact date yet. Where to stay in Santa Marta, I usually advise people staying in the colonial part, which is very beautiful, not too close to the nightlife streets, but you also have good alternatives, some very nice hotels actually, and I'm sure you will find a great place. I had an Airbnb with Stick, Dutch guy, a little bit outside, that also works if you're familiar with the area, and I was there for business, so for me it didn't make a difference. But if you're on holidays, I really recommend to you staying in the historic part. That's real quality. Then where to eat? I will just mention one restaurant. We will have more restaurants in the written travel guide where you find the link and everything. And this is in the Parque de los Novios, Donde Chucho. This is an institution, this is a seafood restaurant, you just need to go. Try it and you will know why. It's great food, and make sure being there on time, because usually you have to line up on weekends because everybody knows it's great food and the great ambience, and they can sit inside or outside. I love that place. Best time to visit Santa Marta. As all of Colombia, you actually can visit it all the year long. So that's no issue, but there are some constraints. After Christmas, usually it fills up with national tourism. It will be full of Colombians. Prices will be expensive. Rooms will be difficult in terms of availability, and this is until like the 15th of January. Also, you have Easter week. Also, you have all the long weekends. You know, in Colombia we have 18 public holidays, which are usually celebrated on a Monday. So Colombians go to Santa Marta a lot. And if you can avoid it, don't go during those times. Then you also have September, October, which is rain season, and sometimes it can happen when there is a hurricane in the Caribbean that the hurricane pushes lots of rain clouds to the Colombian coast, and then it might happen that it rains and rains and rains. So if you want to make sure you have just sun, go during dry season, which usually starts in November and lasts until April. Santa Marta can be reached by buses from all over Colombia and also, of course, by plane. And you can fly from Bogota, Medellin, Cali, Bucaramanga, and Pereira. Also, you find the links and the details on the travel guide. Then, also important, when you arrive at the airport in Santa Marta, the taxi to downtown will cost you 30,000 pesos. And when you go from Santa Marta to the airport, it will cost you 25,000 pesos. These are the current tariffs. If the taxi driver will charge you 50,000, something's wrong. Call the police. And then the public transportation system. You have the buses, which seem to be colectivos, but they're the official buses. You don't have air condition. They're quite packed with local people. I recommend you taking the taxi in Santa Marta when you go somewhere, because it will be cheap and you will be much more comfortable. What I like about Santa Marta and what I don't like. I love Santa Marta because it's very familiar, it's very Colombian, it's not so international, it's not so luxury and stylish and hip like Cartagena, for example. You have decent prices and it's just a comfortable place. And also there is so much to do, there's so much nature, so many activities you can do there. I just love going to Santa Marta. What I don't like, it's hot and sometimes very humid, and this combination just kills me. Also right now, still with the big crisis in Venezuela, you have many refugees and people are begging on the street, and also you have the crime rate, of course. In Santa Marta, it has been safer in the past. It's not dangerous, but just make sure you don't walk around and don't dar papaya, which means don't give the papaya. Make gifts to people, offer them their cell phone. Just be careful, don't take values with you. Make sure you have passport and stuff at home. Don't use your cell phone in the public and swing it around and show off with your expensive whatever you have. Just take it easy, be careful, be smart, you'll be safe. That's it. This is all the travel guide I have for you from Santa Marta. As I already mentioned, you can find the whole document on my homepage, Pelecanos Travel Guide Santa Marta. You will find that in Google and you will have an updated travel guide with all the links and more additional information. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you like my information, give me a like, share the link with people who want to travel to Colombia. And if you want to write me some nice words, do that down in the comment section. In the description section, you also will find additional information. That's all I have to say. I wish you all the best from Bogota and hope to see you soon again on my channel, or even better, here in Colombia. All the best from Bogota. Yours, Colombiafrank.